welcome back to Finance with Sherry. Thank you so much for the love that I received last week. Much appreciated. So, a few years ago, not many years, a few years ago, a friend of mine, very dear to my heart, tragically passed away. And after his funeral, we went back to the house to have something to eat, of course, and also to look at what he had in place for his family. I mean, we were very close, and I knew that he had a document drawer. So I went with another friend of ours into his document drawer, and when we checked, we found his will. And he was really responsible. He was like the responsible friend out of the lot. And his will had all the relevant details, who was going to get what and all those beautiful things. Unfortunately, it was never signed. Hence, it was invalid. Like 75% of South Africans that pass away without a valid will in place, my friend formed part of the statistic. So we all know that if you do not have a valid will in place, it does mean that you die interstate if you do have things to leave. And like my friend, he then died interstate, which meant that everything else just took so much longer. I mean, it is a few years later and his things are still not in order. His child is still wandering around. And that is why today I decided to speak about wills and estate planning. So I mentioned that my friend was really responsible and he had all his assets and loved ones, everything that he wanted to give to his loved ones in his will, part and parcel of his will. So there are 3 crucial things that you need to put in your will. Okay? Number 1. The name and details of the person that will assist your family when you are no longer there, to actually wind up or bring all your things together. This would be either your bank accounts or your properties and all that. That person will be responsible for assisting your family to get past the most difficult time once you have passed away. That person would be the executor. Hopefully, someone with some legal experience that would be able to assist them and not just the neighbor next door that you were fond of. Please, someone with some real legal experience. Then, secondly, a list of your assets, your belongings, and who you want it to go to. Your loved ones, be it your spouse, your children, your best friends, anyone, including your pets as well. Yes, they are also getting things out of your will if you choose for them to. And also charities, if you really want to give donation to charities, or even churches, because lots of us love our churches so much that we want to give back to them as well. So that is also something that you need to put in your will. But please, I'm going to stress this. Discuss with your beneficiaries beforehand what you want to leave to them, especially your loved ones, because not everyone would want what you are leaving them. So please discuss this beforehand. And then the third thing, please, the name and details of your guardian for your minor kids. So I know that many of us, especially young people, think that they are never going to die. But let's face it, everyone is going to die eventually. And if you have minor kids, please, please, please put a will in place and list a potential guardian. Of course, after having spoken to that potential guardian. So, if you are 16 years old and you have a baby already, speak to a guardian because your parents might not want your kids. I mean, sorry to say, but they might not. And it also helps when it comes to family feuds over who's going to get the kids. So to avoid that, now when you are alive, put a potential guardian's name in a will. So those are the 3 crucial things that needs to be in your will. Then there's a fourth one, something special. So these are any special requests that you have upon your death. So let's say, for example, your burial arrangements. If there's something special that you want in there, place that also in your will. If you want your ashes to be scattered in some exotic place like Italy, place that in your will as well. This is an optional section on your will that can also be included in there. So I'm sure by now you're wondering what makes a valid will. So there are a few steps yet again. One, it needs to be signed on every page by the person drawing up the will. Okay? So it needs to be signed on every page. Number two, you need two witnesses to sign on your will. And those two witnesses needs to be over the age of 14 years old. And number three, beneficiaries mentioned on the will cannot be witnesses. Okay, so it's 3 easy steps. Signatures, witnesses, and beneficiaries cannot be witnesses. So now that we have our will in place and it's signed and it's all valid, there are costs involved with executing your wishes, okay, making your wishes a reality. There are costs involved. But do not fret, I will be leaving a checklist with most of the costs, if not all the costs related to the winding up of your estate in the description box, so check it out. But for today's video, I will be focusing on 3 of the main costs. Firstly, estate duty. This is a tax that gets paid over to SARS, but your executor will usually help you with this because it is a calculation that is payable based on the full amount of your entire estate. Okay, so that's estate duty. Secondly, it's transfer cost of any fixed property. So your house that you're currently staying in, even if you are married in community of property and it's owned by both you and your spouse, your portion, seeing that you are now dead, your portion would have to be transferred over to the living spouse. So there's transfer cost that needs to be considered as well. Even if you are giving the house over to your beneficiary or children, transfer costs is a cost that needs to be considered. And then thirdly is executor's fees. The lady or gentleman that will be helping your family wind up that estate, they do also have to be paid. And that is a fee of about 3.5% excluding VAT on the total value of your estate. So those are the 3 key costs that you need to consider, but check the others out in the description box. But do not fret about the costs because there are ways that you can provide now already for those costs involved when you do die. Number 1, take out a life insurance policy and make your estate the beneficiary. Okay? So that's very simple. A life insurance policy and estate the beneficiary. And then number 2, you can negotiate the executor fee. You can negotiate it when you are either drawing up the will or your beneficiaries could do it when you do pass away. Okay, so that's a free tip. And then thirdly, there are now companies that are coming up with estate planning policies to cover the costs within your estate. So I'm sure these ideas are seeming really good, but you're wondering, where can I get some of these or one of these 3? Look, contact me. My email and telephone number will be in the description box. WhatsApp me or email me and I'll definitely hook you up. Very important, please remember to update your will on a regular basis. So when you do have a life change, like you buy a new property or you have a new baby, please do update your will. Or even if a beneficiary dies, update your will. And then there's usually Free Wills Month in September or October. But don't wait till then to get a free will drafted. Wills are not expensive to draft, and most of the institutions has a storage facility for your wills. It is a small annual fee, but then you know that your will is safe and sound and your family will be taken care of. So remember, check out the description box for a checklist, hit like, subscribe, and please do share this video with your friends, family, and everyone you know. Thanks.